Balance is a combination of three different products in one to create a beautiful B2B checkout experience.
Hey everyone, this is Nazar Akil from Max Pro.
Hi, I'm Linda.
And I'm Paul.
And we're Love and Pebbles.
Hi, this is Lopa Vandermersch from Rasa.
Oh, you're listening to,
And you are listening to the E-Comm Show.
Welcome to the E-Comm Show, presented by BlueTuskr, the #1 place to hear the inside scoop from other e-commerce experts, where they share their secrets on how they scaled their business and are now living the dream. Now, here is your host, Andrew Math.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I'm your host, Andrew Math, and today I'm joined by the amazing Bar Geron, who is the founder and CEO of Balance. Bar, how you doing? You ready for a good show?
Oh my God, tell that to my wife. I'm already happy I joined the show. Feels so good. Blessed to be here.
Super excited to have you on, buddy. I always like to start these off in a very stereotypical, relatively boring fashion, but we'll make it more fun as time goes on. But if you wouldn't mind giving everyone a little bit more insight into who you are, your background, what you got going on at Balance, and we'll take it from there, okay?
Sure thing. So happy to be here. Balance is a 3-year-old company focusing on B2B commerce payments, which sounds boring, but it's quite exciting. If you're doing a step back, before that, I had a bootstrapped company in healthcare, coming from a background of fintech, working at companies like PayPal, just big corporates to very small startups. I'm doing it with my co-founder, Yoni, which is with me from the PayPal days and the first startups we had together. I live in Brooklyn with my wife, daughter, and one on the way. And studied industrial engineering, did a master's in philosophy. I was an officer in the Army. And let's talk a bit about Balance. A few sentences to give some context.
Let's do it.
First of all, Balance is a tech company. It raised almost $450 million, $100 million almost in equity, and $350 million in a credit facility. Balance is the leading solution for B2B e-commerce companies looking to streamline the ordering step in the flow. B2B e-commerce in high level is the attempt to move traditional trade of chemicals, lumber, textile, steel, you name it, to the online space. It's fascinating, and it's the new economy, as we like to call it. The first stage that we're in e-commerce in B2B is around discovery, finding new products, which is working quite well. Balance is focusing on the second step. Now, after you find the product that you want, now finishing the order online, which is something today that you do offline. To that end, Balance is a combination of three different products in one to create a beautiful B2B checkout experience. One is the ability to give net terms for buyers you don't know. Balance is leveraging underwriting technology to extend terms. This is why the credit facility. The second is payments. You can pay in alternative payment methods that suits your business. As a business buyer, you need to pay on the 16th of each month because this is where you pay your vendors, and you need to do it with checks, and you need to do it with an invoice. All of that is facilitated online with Balance, including software like milestone-based payments, managing credit notes, managing credit line, everything that you need in order to make it truly self-serve. That's it.
Beautiful. That's it. Simple.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good talk. Hey, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
So we actually do a lot of work on the marketing side with B2B commerce sellers. So I'm very familiar with the approach from a marketing side. But honestly, once we get the lead in or once we get them through checkout, I'm totally blind on what actually happens there because that's a little bit outside of our wheelhouse. So explain to me, who is this good for? Is this like something where you can have like a Shopify or a Magento or WooCommerce and add it as an additional checkout type of thing? Or is this a custom built onto the site? Like, what is this how does this? What's the functioning behind it?
Yeah, so great question. The short answer is yes. We are integrated with most of the platforms today. Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento, Salesforce, Miracle, everyone that are close to the B2B e-commerce ecosystem balances seamlessly integrated and is just a toggle on, essentially an alternative for the B2C credit card processors that you just plug into your website. Balance is the same, just much more robust, much more B2B oriented.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Second, it's also custom built. It's very similar to Stripe, and Stripe is also one of our investors, important to say. Um, it's very similar in the sense that it's API based. You can take our components and integrate them into your core systems. This is why we have a lot of custom built with our publicly traded companies that have their own websites, and also like the SMBs with the extension on the platforms.
Interesting. So, do you find that the ideal client you're working with, are they someone who's like, hey, I want to start offering a B2B side of my business that's pre-existing on, let's say, like a Shopify or something? Or is this really meant for those that have a B2B aspect of their businesses already built out and they're looking for a more seamless checkout process?
Yeah, we see both, to be honest. If you're on Shopify, usually you came from the retail side, you're selling to consumers, and you just want to create a new monetization model. So Shopify is now enabling not only Shopify, e-commerce as well, and others, but it's becoming more and more common to just integrate a B2B wholesale type of approach if you are a direct to consumer brand. So this is something that we see a lot, but also just traditional businesses that are looking to make their business more efficient. If you're looking up market, it's the digital officers, the innovators that are trying to digitize business. It can be a huge steel manufacturer, food, chemicals. We have 36 different industries today on the platform. Um, so yeah, I think both of them are very, very much engaged in the revolution of moving online right now.
Yeah. Do you find that more and more sellers are looking to get into the B2B like kind of direction with things? Like D2C, you have your very simple, bring them to the site. I say simple very, very loosely, but you bring them to the site, convince them to purchase, they make a purchase, the deal is done, it's over. B2B, it's a lot longer of a sales cycle. Just somebody, you got sales reps, there's conversations involved. Obviously, it sounds like what Balance helps with is the payment terms, which sometimes you have net terms, sometimes you have invoices. Like there's a lot of different ways in that direction. So do you find that you're having more and more people starting to just start off on the B2B side?
Yes, I think that you're right by saying that B2C is like the North Star, is the level of experience that everyone are dreaming of in B2B. It's a process, but we see more and more sellers and buyers that are millennials. There's like the latest report I saw is like 88% of them are millennials today. So they want the next level of experience. So I think the natural movement of the B2B space is to attract more and more of the long tail, which are the millennials and even younger um, players that are just looking to engage with this huge market, just unbelievable market, which is becoming more and more of an opportunity as the supply chain challenge is becoming bigger and bigger. Because if I'm a business buyer, I'm looking for alternatives today. I don't want to work with the same vendors I worked in the last 20 years. So the unlock of B2B e-commerce more than anything else to create those alternatives. And I think B2B sellers are recognizing it.
Got it. Now, we don't have to name any of your competitors. However, I would say, especially, I believe Shopify got rid of their wholesale. Shopify Plus got rid of wholesale. Is that correct?
I actually don't know that they
I
did.
swear I saw someone in a group mention that they got rid of wholesale. I know that there's a lot of different apps now that where you can just have a basic Shopify account. You can, do a plugin or something like that. what would you say is the biggest differentiator from Balance comparative to the other ones out there?
Yeah, Balance is really dedicated on the checkout experience. That is, it's really quite unique in the sense that it combines three areas that are disconnected today. Um, it's like a Stripe or a PayPal in the sense that you can just accept payments, but
Yeah.
it also gives you the financing element on top of it to provide net terms. And it's also a workflow enablement to create invoices on the fly, customized with your own brand, and is working in the way your business works in terms of workflow, like the milestone-based payments and other ways. So the uniqueness is the all-in-one with the ultimate B2B e-commerce focus,
Gotcha.
like a true checkout, like a true B2B checkout experience.
So what happens on the front end? So if we're talking, someone's got a Shopify account, they create someone's got to create an account to be able to see their own wholesale pricing or something along those lines. Do you integrate directly with that? So basically, if they're connected as a wholesale account, it then takes them to the balance checkout, which gives them different
Yeah,
payment options.
the beautiful thing about Balance is that it's white labeled. It's your checkout. It's not like a Klarna or like an Affirm that is like sign up with Balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's powering brands. It's powering our sellers to provide a payment experience that works in the ways that the buyers are looking for. So when a business buyer is going to a website, he has two options. One, um, he's choosing his items, he's looking to check out, and then he can use credit cards today. Usually, if it's a significant purchase or you want to buy supply, you don't do it with a credit card, it will be maxed out and it's
Yeah.
expensive. So you call the sellers and you're starting the back and forth offline with invoices and payment terms and so forth. With Balance, when you toggle it on, the first stage of the checkout, which is really beautiful experience, is just setting up net terms. We do in real time evaluation of your business and give you terms to pay in 30 days for your purchase. It's really similar to the buy now pay later experience, just very B2B oriented. And then you can get an invoice um, that is based on the card that you created, and you can pay that invoice in every payment method that is available in the US. So you can pay with checks and wires, and ACH, or a card if you like. And all of that is just very self-serve. So you feel you can also just pay online, but it's just really similar to the experience you know from the B2C space, just a bit more robust in the sense
Yeah.
of B2B.
What about from the back end? What kind of reporting are they supplied? Do they get insight into, delinquent payments, net
Yes.
terms that are coming up? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So one of the elements that we have is a post-transaction automation, which includes dunning, buyer portals, and just general management of terms. So in Balance, you can choose to do terms with your own balance sheet, or you can use the Balance credit facility to get funding from us. So we will pay you directly and get paid from the buyer. So if you're opting into that service, you don't need to manage those things because you get paid instantly and automatically reconciled. If you're leveraging your own balance sheet for terms, you can see upcoming payments. You can do automatic collection and reminders. You can send links to buyers to pay all their invoices in once. You can leverage our reconciliation feature, which gives our customers the ability to connect between invoices and incoming payments automatically, so you don't need to do it. It sits on your Shopify, e-commerce, and others accounts. Um, so yeah, it's it's like an extension or a management tool for your AR to make it as simple as
Yeah.
processing a credit card.
So it does alleviate a lot of the consistent follow up that someone in like accounts receivable would
Yeah,
have to
it's
be
completely
constantly hunting
automatic in
people
that
down.
sense. It's the worst, yeah.
Yeah. What about from a customization standpoint? Like obviously the checkout is very specific to B2B. you've got all these follow-up notifications and things like that for people that are delayed. Is there anything from there that they can adjust on their own? Is there anything that you usually suggest? I'm just thinking like from a basic, you get into like a traditional D2C perspective, you've got like upsell and that kind of stuff. But in B2B, I know that's usually not the case, but is there anything in that direction that would need to be adjusted?
It really depends on how complex your business is. Usually, it's just a toggle on and you can use it. Um, but in some cases, there is some custom built. Like we make sure that the app is working in very specific ways to support your workflows, which you can do with our solution engineering. It just
Yeah.
depends on your tier and what is it that you want to achieve. We also work like it's an omni-channel approach, so we have like a dashboard that you can leverage for your offline sales as well. So sometimes we will invest some time in connecting those two together to make sure it's tight. Um, but yeah,
It's pretty interesting. How did you come up with this? I know obviously you had the background in it, but what sparked
it's the
the idea?
background. I was very close to the e-commerce and B2B ecosystem for years. And I thought B2B e-commerce is fascinating, not just on the business opportunity level. I just found it fascinating in terms of what it will do for the economy. So I worked at a small startup that tried to do something in B2B e-commerce, and I remember seeing like the first like steel market. It wasn't a marketplace; it was a website, but trying to sell steel online. And I thought to myself that if you can do that for all the commodities of the world, um, you can create a much more efficient economy. And maybe with time, the it will maybe even reduce the cost of living for everyone because everyone can buy from anyone. So things that are locked in with like few vendors can now be accessible, across the globe. Um,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself that the mission of working on B2B e-commerce can be fascinating. And then I just looked at the payment side because it's what I do and saw how it's not working the way that like at the beginning of like always with this wave of B2B e-commerce innovation, they just took what's working in B2C and turned it into the B2B side, which is just not the same,
Yeah.
just different needs. So yeah, it was a bit obvious. The big question in B2B e-commerce is how fast would it move? Um, but it looks like the trend is moving is moving quite well since COVID. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, we see it on our end too, just from a marketing perspective of more and more sellers looking to get into a B2B approach. They're
Exactly.
exploring 10 different ways to get into that realm. What
Exactly.
obviously, you've gotten through the great customized checkout for the B2B side. There's a lot of benefits on the back end of automating a lot of that follow-up. What else do you have coming down the pipeline of new features that you're going to be releasing in Balance that you're able to share, at least at this point?
Yeah. We got some exciting news about our ability to support global customers that we'll be releasing during the year. We are also continuing to invest in the ability for the finance leader to control everything from the dashboard. So the ability to do everything like a back office tool that is very robust in terms of like just an OS to control AR, including AP. I think that will be a big piece that we see a lot of our users, which are sometimes sits on the innovation side of the organization, like a CTO or like a product manager, if it's e-com oriented. Sometimes it's the finance team, and I feel like we didn't put enough focus in 2022 on the finance team. So in the last 6 months, we really went deep with all of our users to make sure that they can leverage this robust system as a back office tool to make their life easier.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Bar, really appreciate you having the show. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'd love to give you an opportunity here, let everyone know where they can find out more about you and, of course, more about Balance.
For sure. So the standards, we have our LinkedIn page, Balance. Balance is, I guess it's a common word, but you will find us because we have good followers. Getbalance.com is the website. You can reach out to me, Bar Geron Balance, for more questions, and was just happy to be here. So thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show. Obviously, everyone that tuned in, thank you as well. Please make sure you do the usual, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.